The North London derby was intense. Somehow, Arsenal found a goal to score in the second half. Gabriel scoring that beautiful header from Saka's corner. Okay, guys, if you look at that game, we saw that game and it was intense. 90 minutes of intense football. If you look at Arsenal, they had a whole lot of injuries. If you look at their lineup, for the first time in a very long time, they played two defensive midfielders that were trying to shield the defense, and they played the best they could, but somehow they won that game against Tottenham. John.
Yeah, Arsenal are the perennial set piece masters. They've shown that again in the way they got the goal, and it's been a comfortable win, even though towards the end there were some nervy moments.
It's normal.
It's normal.
No, maybe towards the end of the game. Throughout the game, it was just nervy.
Well, I disagree.
Throughout the game, if you had seen the game, there were times you see Son make a run at defenders, and you'd be like, God, hope he's not going to take a shot. And there's times you see Kulusevski run at defenders, you say, oh, he's going to take a shot, and definitely there's one person to put out the last dish tackle and he loses the ball from there. So it was all intense from beginning of the game to the very end.
It was intense. Okay, John, if you look at that game, if you look at Arsenal setup, what do you make of this setup? Do you think that Arteta got it right? He didn't risk it. He played to the strength of the players that are available to him. What do you make of Arteta's tactics in this game?
Yeah, for me, in the setup to this game, I saw the lineup and I was happy about the lineup. The only thing I would like to pull here is the fullbacks. If you look at Timber's wing was, where a lot of service was coming from Tottenham in today's game. And whenever Arsenal are pushing forward, once they lose the ball, you have Timber oftentimes struggling to come back in time to block out any threat from that wing. And apart from that, I think the setup was nice. The double holding midfielders made sure that they had that control in the front of the.
You remember the last game when you were leading 3-0?
Yes,
Tottenham Hotspur came from behind and was trying to come back in that game. That was what Arteta was trying to manage out. You understand? That last minute, I want to get it and give Tottenham Hotspur the result. But if you ask me now, I think he got it right, because he was trying to manage out and he was trying to hold on to the ball. But yet we didn't see Arsenal much on the ball like that. We also Tottenham Hotspur running. It was just Son against what's it called? White and the other guy Johnson against Timber, which Timber kind of shunned up in that position. But Kulusevski was, I think the two midfielders in that game were just dumb flat. That's
both teams.
Not really the both teams. Arsenal, whenever Partey sees an opportunity to pass forward, he creates that pass and he makes that pass forward. But for me, the combination of Bentancur and James Maddison, it's just not working for me. And it worked last season, half of last season, and until James went on injury. But it's just not working for me. I have to say that.
Okay, I'll stay with you now. So the show of character. Last game against Brighton, you were arguing that Arsenal didn't show character. But how do you see this character? What do you see in this particular character? Did Arsenal actually show character?
It's a derby. You can't judge from the derby, man. You can't judge.
Come on.
I disagree. Why are we hiding under the banner of it's a derby game?
You gotta look at the injuries they have. Come on, look at the injuries they have, the way they manage the game. How many chances did Tottenham get?
Man, see, big chances created. If you ask me, big chances created. Tottenham had more big chances created.
Yes, obviously,
Now, the problem with Tottenham Hotspur is they've had difficulties. Let's be frank now. Tottenham also had difficulties all of last 3 seasons. For the past 3 years, they've had difficulties defending set piece. 70% of their goals they conceded came from set pieces. 70%. Now, which tells you that they are number 1 or number 2 in poor defending of set piece. So I think that was where Arsenal got it right. In show of character, they manned their man 1 for 1. I have to give them that. I'll have to say I know that.
They show character.
John was just like, if you don't touch the show character now, I will punch you. But come on, I have to give them that. They tried. I just had to put them up there a bit.
Okay, John. They bought a 64 million or 65 million pound striker. He wanted to bully Saliba, but Saliba was showing that he is one of the top defenders.
He came into the game. I was looking for a freebie. I saw about 3 cries for penalty from Solanke, and I was thinking,
it was just 2, and one of those was
Tottenham spend 65 million for you to come and record your first goal for the club with a freebie? Like, come on. Apart from that, I feel Solanke didn't get as much service as he expected and he required. And I feel like even when he got into the 18, He was shrouded by the golden wall, which is, you talk about the Saliba, Rolls Royce, and Gabriel. They didn't let the man see anything, man. So
if you look at where can he get service from? Partey is in front of Maddison. Jorginho is with Bentancur, stopping him from creating any forward passes. And that's how you saw when I was shouting. You were there with me when I was shouting. Why is Bentancur just passing towards Ugoshi and the rest of them and Pedro Porro? Come on, move the ball forward. We know you're a creative player. I was shouting on top of my voice, though I wanted Arsenal because I don't want any of that team to win. I just wanted a draw because, to be honest, I just wanted a draw in that game. But I was actually livid with what's it called, Bentancur not passing balls forward, and it felt like it was the way he kind of controlled the game. Had to draw Maddison out of the creative position to come and help him in balancing the midfield, which was a problem for Maddison to go forward and create a chance. And I think that was where Tottenham Hotspur kind of shot themselves in the foot.
For me, Tottenham Hotspur biggest problem right now is the lack of creative midfielders.
There's
James had an off game.
Look at it. Even when Sarr came in, you see him create more chances than Bentancur and James.
He was just shooting outside the box.
He was just shooting out of frustration. That's another.
Look at it now. There were times he made runs into spaces and dropped passes. That was great. That was something Bentancur didn't do all game.
Okay, guys, let's talk about Arsenal title credentials. If you look at the way Arsenal won this game, they showed character. We all agree that they showed character. Do you think they are the closest rival to Manchester City? Let me start with you, John, because you are a City fan.
Of course, you have to give it to them. You have to give it to them because if you look at the log says it all. It's a Man City top as always, and then Arsenal plodding along 2 points behind, and then Liverpool, the club resurgence, 9 points. 9 points on the table, a couple of points away from City. That's about 3 points behind. And so yes, you have to give it to Arsenal. In previous tests where Arsenal would have crumbled, we've seen them come out stronger. So you have to give it to them. The question now is, can they maintain this consistency
to the end of the season?
To the end of the season.
What do you think?
Like I said, it's a derby match. You can't judge from a derby match. Before I said they showed character a bit, but look at it now. You played like this against a Tottenham Hotspur. Against a Brighton, you played a bit less. Now, are you going to play a bit less when you meet a Southampton side? That's where the question is. This is, something Ferguson once said. He said, if you have 20 teams in the Premier League table, which 3 of them are title contenders, yourself, which you're the title contender, the next person coming after you at some point, let's use Man United and Arsenal of old. Man United pursuing for the title, you have Arsenal and Liverpool. This is maybe 5 games or 4 games. You get home and away leg from 2 sides is 4 games. Now, minus these 4 games, or minus these 3 players, you still have about 20 or 34 games.
Yes.
You still have 34 games to play against smaller sides that are not title contenders. Now look at it. Can you manage to win the rest of the 34 games? Because when you win these games, then you take out points from the other 4.
What you are saying is still early for Arsenal.
Exactly, it's too early because they need to beat the likes. Look at it now. We were already shouting title contenders until we saw the game against Aston Villa last season. 2 seasons ago, until we saw the game against a relegated already relegated Southampton. So it is still early. It's game week 4. You understand? It's still early to call it. It's still far by a long shot to say Arsenal are title contenders now. I
disagree. You can't rule Arsenal out as title contenders based on what they did against last 2 seasons. Okay. You can't even call them rule them out of being title contenders because of how the game against Brighton went. Because let's say it as it is, in another game, in another climb, the game against Brighton would have ended a loss because Arsenal went 1 man down and every other person crumbled like a pack of cards. That didn't happen. They held through, they secured the draw. And if you feel they played with less intensity, my brother, you have not been between the wall and a hard place and you have to eke out a game. So I feel that they have title credential. If you look at the last 5 games, you have to see it there. How they won, how they defended, how they drew out games, how they winded games up.
What my mentor always say, if you're between a wall and a hard place, look for a sledgehammer. Break down the game wall. It's just the way it is. And Arsenal in that game did not break down the wall.
You can't look for a sledgehammer when the window is closed, man.
See, man, anyhow it is, you can punch through it.
Okay, Arsenal.
Motivational speaker.
No. See, my boss. I also quote him again. He said, "If you have a gun to your head, there are 117 you have to do that is not do what the person holding the gun is. One of them is take away the gun from the person. So it's just the same thing with if you're in a hard place and a rock, you have to look for a way to punch down the rock.
Well, you can motivate all you want, but this motivation will not work against City. City is still the problem for everybody. City can win all their games. You have to find motivation somewhere and win your games. Okay, Arsenal, this is not London derby. Arsenal winning that game 1-0. Kudos to Arteta and his team. They did well in that game. Let's see how this league will play out. If they are one of the teams that are still unbeaten in the league. And North London is always red. See you guys next time.